no conceptual thinking means that you're okay. You have stepped back into the being dimension of being human. The name human being represents that there's two dimensions. There's the human, where there's thought, emotion, everything. There's the being, where there's just being, where you don't need thought and emotion to just be. You can simply be. And if you notice you're in a stressful state, or filled with anxiety or fear, whatever it may be, besides just the being, step out of the human for a little bit by taking a breath or recognizing the inner aliveness of your body. Sense the energy in your hands, your feet. Use these little tools that you have with the body to become more present, become more neutral. Now, if you have no awareness at all, zero awareness of your state of consciousness, you will be taken over by anxiety, frustration, anger, fear. It is by choice that you choose to hold the frequency of presence or being, that being dimension of the human being. Throughout your daily life, you have to remind yourself to check in within yourself. You may even ask yourself a question like, how am I feeling right now? Do I feel, usually you can feel anxiety here in the solar plexus area. I'm rubbing here. It's kind of like a jittery feeling. It's anxiety. Anger is a much more stronger feeling. Depression is it's kind of like a down feeling. But you have to check within yourself. And going a little further, you have to see what thought process has been going through your mind throughout the day. Because ultimately that thought process is what's going to energize, if we will, that depression or anger or anxiety feeling. You feel shaky about everything. So choosing to take a moment, reflect within yourself, even if you have to ask a question, because you can just scan your body inwardly. Doesn't look like much on the outside, looks like this. But you are looking to see what feelings, what emotion is entangled with thought and creating the feeling of anxiety, frustration, depression, anxiety, resentment, and all the other unwanted feelings, if you will. But also, if you have those feelings, or if you become aware of those feelings, you shouldn't say feelings go away. I don't want to feel that, because it would increase. So you become aware of it, step out of the stream of thinking by maybe taking some breaths, inhalation, exhalation, relatively deep ones if you can, depending on the feeling. If it's like more, take a bigger one. If you feel, oh, it's just a little something there, let me step out of that. Doesn't have to be a deeper breath, but small moments of this will help you check in with yourself and recognize the state of consciousness in which you're functioning at that time. don't really need anything on the outside to be a certain way for you to check in with yourself and ultimately change that state of consciousness from anxious or anger. It's kind of more, or fearful. It's kind of this one, to a more balanced state of consciousness. Holding the frequency of presence is your choice, not your circumstances or surroundings or environment. Has nothing really to do with the choice that you make within yourself about what state of consciousness you would like to be in. Now, if you have no awareness at all, zero awareness of your state of consciousness, you will be taken over by anxiety, frustration, anger, fear. It's very common for people who are completely unaware to experience these fluctuations without knowing that in a split second almost you can change it by just checking in with yourself. Am I okay right now? That's a very simple question to ask yourself. And don't look for an answer. Yes, I'm okay. Okay, there you are identifying with a thought again, even if it's saying you're okay. You've asked the question, don't need the answer. Take a conscious breath. No conceptual thinking means that you're okay. You have stepped back into the being dimension of being human. The name human being represents that there's two dimensions. There's the human, where there's thought, emotion, everything. There's the being, where there's just being, where you don't need thought and emotion to just be. You can simply be. And if you notice you're in a stressful state, or filled with anxiety or fear, whatever it may be, besides just the being, step out of the human for a little bit by taking a breath or recognizing the inner aliveness of your body. Sense the energy in your hands, your feet. Use these little tools that you have with the body to become more present, become more neutral, to step back into the frequency of presence. And don't need to think about holding it there, I need to hold it there. No, just continuously throughout the day it's going to happen where you get subtly taken over by a thought. You're going to step out, do what you need to do. Okay, you notice you're doing something, and then even if no stress even arises, no anxiety even arises, step back into and continue doing what you're doing. That is ultimately holding the frequency as much as you can. That's being the essence of who you are as much as you can. Thought process may come up again. You may find yourself doing something a little faster than you do when you're holding that frequency of presence. That's okay. Step out again. It's more important that you step out of presence, step out of the stream of thinking, than it is to hold that frequency of presence. It's much more important that you step out continuously throughout the day than how long you hold the frequency of presence. because we have to do things. So while you're doing something, step back into the frequency of presence. The more you do this, choose presence or allow presence to choose you, the more natural it'll become throughout your days. And you start to notice, oh, it's been 2 or 3 days I haven't experienced stress. That's nice. I haven't experienced anxiety. That's nice, because you've consciously chose to hold the frequency of presence as much as you can. And the result is a more present human being, a more conscious, a more at ease life. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube. I always appreciate your presence.